so long as like alchemy.
All right, here we go. The series tied 1-1 in this 3-game regular season matchup. James Harden's second game back from the hamstring. No Trevor Ariza, no Andre Iguodala. The starters were out there. There's the same old two-step. Draymond, you can't challenge it any better. But Houston, you know what they're going to do. Pull the trigger. KD's like, I got you right back in Nene's face. And you could call this thing a menage a trois because it was all about threes. 73 attempted in this game. But that didn't stop this man, Clint Capella, from dominating at the basket. It was the rim runs and the pick and rolls, and his size and athleticism around the rim were very effective in 30 minutes of play. There he is doing the two-step. How many steps was that? Now, James was under a minutes restriction going into this game, but you know D'Antoni, he don't follow no damn rules. Steph, 1 of 6 turnovers in this game, and then you got to credit Chris Paul for adapting to the way the league is going now, shooting a lot more 3 balls. Now, we all know Klay Thompson's not the talkative type, but sometimes he just disappears in games. That's 1 of his 3 makes in the entire game. KD, not so much, right? The easy money sniper, he just born to get buckets, and that's what he did. 4-point play. Like I said, the threes were plentiful, but Houston felt like they were in control for most of the game. There's Chris again, and at this point in his career, I think you've got to make him drive to the basket. I think he wants the 3. If you let him get a rhythm, it's problematic. There's Steph, step back, Ryan Anderson, green light when someone sees you in front of him. Steph hits the 3. Then it's Swaggy P just on time when we need him, with Klay and Steph both struggling. Nick, 16 points off the bench. And then it's BDD, figure it out. Shout out Warriors World. Draymond, 2 huge fourth quarter 3 points. Give the Warriors life. KD, really the only Warriors starter to be able to find a rhythm in this game offensively. 9 of 17, 26 points. You see the pull-up jumper with 6 to go. The swing to Eric Gordon. You got to run him off the 3-point line. Kicks it to the corner. You have to live with Tucker deep in the corner. He bangs it. Then Harden tells Curry, when you guarding me, don't sleep, you gotta stay up. The beard with the dagger as Houston breaks Golden State's win streak and wins the season series. All right, y'all, I'm hopping right on this, man. I'm waiting for the highlights. So this video shot before I even do my call of the game. First off, let's credit the Houston Rockets. I say let's. I know that most of you watching this are Warrior fans, right? A lot of you don't watch these losses. They come far and few between. But the real riders that want to hear the facts and ride with the ups and the downs, there's not very many, but you got to do both, man. But anyway, let's credit the Houston Rockets. They needed this game more, and it showed during the game. They deserved to win the game. They played better. Let's just call it what it is. Now, those calls, let's just get used to it, right? Chris Paul, James Harden, 2 of the greatest flop artists the game has ever seen, and they were at full effect in this one. Now, we dodged some bullets. Eric Gordon, that was maybe the worst shooting performance I've ever seen of his career. No Trevor Ariza, right? Clint Capella was very impressive. I didn't know he had that much finesse around the basket with his finishes. And there was those pocket passes and just those over-the-top passes when we were fronting and helping down from the corner, and Capella made us pay. He was nice. Chris Paul, monster numbers, right? Harden did his thing late, but it was really Chris Paul leading the way. And like I said, they just wanted it more. And let's address the elephant in the room that is Steph Curry. And here's the thing. Here's where, before I get into this, here's the thing about a lot of y'all Warrior fans. Look, here's what it is. I'm not a Steph Curry fan. I'm a Warriors fan. You feel me? So I love Steph, and I appreciate him because he's on the Warriors. If Steph Curry was traded tomorrow, I'd be a Warriors fan. And there's a lot of y'all that ride and die with Steph. You're not really fans of the Warriors. You're a fan of Steph Curry, so you don't want to hear it when someone has something negative to say about it. But the bottom line is, Steph Curry, that was absolute trash. The effort, the decision-making, it's one thing, and here's the difference. If he went 6 of 20 or whatever he shot in this game, and it was just within the flow of the offense and he was just missing, I wouldn't have nothing to say. If the effort was there, but he came up short and he was just off, I'd have nothing to say. But the effort was not there. The decision-making was not there. And he was just completely off. If you noticed in the first half, he was pausing. He wasn't going right into his shot and taking it out of rhythm. And then there were several turnovers that were just unforced, just like ball bouncing off his knee. And I don't think he made one right decision in transition tonight. 6 turnovers. Draymond had 5. Draymond, most of his were home run passes that were bad, but you could kind of at least see like, oh, I see what you're trying to do there, Draymond. With Steph, they were just like a lack of intensity, right? And Houston was just playing physical. Again, I want to credit their defensive effort, and Steph just wasn't up for the task. Now, part of this falls on Steve Kerr because Steve Kerr decided to stay in Chicago for what I believe was something about 72 hours with the Bulls game Wednesday night. Now, that's all well and good. Chicago, great food. Remember, Kerr played with the Bulls there, and, you know, there's a lot to do in that town. And so that's the decision that they made, they made, right? You could have flown to Houston. And I know Houston got the, you know, they got the strip joints, but I don't think a lot of Warriors are going to be spending time there. My point is, I think part of this falls on them getting fat and happy in Chicago. And you say that's silly, man. It's 48 hours. But these guys are well-oiled machines, and you have a certain amount of downtime, and then you step into a dogfight, and it's hard to match that intensity. You knew Houston was hungrier. They needed it, and they got it. This was the first real signs this season, at least, I've seen of Kevin Durant showing frustration because KD had it popping, man. KD was playing defense, hitting tough jumpers. I have no complaints about it. And down the stretch, it was Klay and Steph forcing awful shots to try to get us back in this game when it was clear, feed Kevin Durant. Feed Kevin Durant. It's that simple. Nick Young got hot there for a minute. That was good to see. And shout out to Kevon Looney for his defensive effort. Big picture, I'm not tripping. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't, I didn't expect to go 5-0 on this road trip, honestly. So you got to look at the big picture. But Houston, you know, it's a notch for them. And the series is 2-1. Someone brought this up to me in my Patreon on my live feed pregame. So shout out to them. They have the series, right? So if somehow there was a tiebreaker, Houston gets home court into the playoffs. So this was not for nothing. But again, I'm not down because I know it was a terrible effort from Golden State, from Steph Curry and Klay Thompson in particular, right? The long road trip and then the hangover in Chicago, you know, I know they didn't have a reason, and I will say Harden clearly was not 100%, right? So neither team was 100, but it's not like we gave our best effort and then Houston beat us. So I'm not really tripping. But again, man, we're spoiled. We're spoiled. These are the, you know, rich fan complaints again. And you Steph fans, don't get me wrong, man. Steph is a 2-time MVP in the heart of the franchise, right? But he has these games. He has these games where he hangs his head, and it is what it is. A spade's a spade. He played like trash. His intensity wasn't there, and he really wanted nothing to do with the basketball down the stretch. I call him how I see it. Facts. Hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'm out, y'all.